Hi, friends and fellow Earth Angels. It's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering January 23rd through the 29th, or whenever you're guided to watch, as I always intend these to be timeless readings, meaning whenever this video shows up for you, that is the time that the messages are meant for you. So, welcome. We are in the last full week of January 2022. We're moving through the intensity of the shift of 2021 into 2022. I know the intensity of the Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, Cancer full moon, Uranus direct. If you follow the astrology, there is an intensity of the energy of kind of like a flushing out, kind of like things coming up to surface. You want to be mindful of reflections, projections. Remember, things and experiences and people in your present world could be pressing and squeezing stuff, energy that still may need focus and intention, or attention, may need love, may need forgiveness. So, I just feel like we're in this energy of doing deep inner work still. Which, again, this is the spiritual journey, so we're going to be always in that space in one way or another, but I feel like this is kind of the final push. I do see things lightening up, maybe towards the end of February. I'm going to talk more about it as the weeks go on, but know that if you're feeling that pull, if you're feeling that blah, if you're feeling that unsettledness or uncertainty or unknown, even though things are changing and evolving and you're moving in the right direction, let's say you feel that, things are coming into alignment, it's not uncommon for that ego or that mind to rear its ugly head, right? What if, how, when? So I pray that the messages this week provides you with some type of support or anchor of stability as you're moving forward in energy that is kind of like uncharted territories, or you're paving paths in a new way, in a new direction. So I want to give you some, I want to offer you some support in, kind of like a tugboat, continuing to pull you forward, right? In a slow and steady way. Now, that's my intention, but, I laugh because, the divine always has its own plan. So let me just get into it this week. So, I have some real flowers here. I love white roses. They're absolutely my favorite, and I really wanted them on the, altar space this week, but I'm a little nervous of that candle. So anyway, let me get back into space. Let me invite in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that would like to assist with this guidance for you this week. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good and the best and highest good of all concerned. And I want to connect my heart to the heart of the Archangel Animal deck. I am just remembering that I forgot to show you what decks I'm using, so I am just going to do that at the end. So let me see here. It is, like I said, retrograde energy, so we're just kind of doing things a little different, and I'm just going to go with it. All right, Archangel Animals, what Archangel Animal wants to step forward this week to support the EarthAngel Collective in their healing journey, their spiritual journey? Let's go with this one. All right, let's begin. Ooh, the bat energy. Wow, it's a see-through illusion into truth. I absolutely love this energy. Bat is a nocturnal animal. They tend to come out at dusk, and you can kind of see them in the sky. And so here's the thing with the shifts of the energies that are going on. You've been doing, as well as myself, we've been doing a lot of work in leaning on our faith, leaning on the divine, leaning on, and not necessarily leaning on, but strengthening our ability to connect intuitively, to see beyond, let's say, the world of illusions. And I think we're going to need that more than ever. I think, there's a lot of... So I feel like my guides are saying that seeing is believing isn't necessarily true. So maybe you're experiencing things through your physical eyes. But I feel like right now what we're seeing in our present life and in the world, I feel is like looking through a mirror. And I've said this before in other videos, it's like things aren't as they appear. It's like, so, when I was, on Instagram, or I was, on Facebook, there'd be a lot of people who would do recordings or live chats and things like that, but they do it from their phone, from like a backwards perspective. So, I'd see videos where people were talking in their car, but it seemed like they were on the opposite side. And it would be so funny and confusing to me because it was like, it felt like they were in Europe driving on the other side. But anyway, it was confusing. And I feel like that's what's happening now. It's like you could be seeing something, but it's not necessarily like truth or reality. It's like looking through a mirror and things are shifted. And that's what this retrograde energy brings up. So this is a time for us to review, renew. It is a time to kind of, if you have old stuff coming up, for me, I've been experiencing anger and frustration with injustices and, my kindness or, my compassion and the appearance that's being taken advantage of. And so I feel like I can speak to that energy of like illusions, right? So you want to ask yourself, so the mind is really crafty and masterful about making stories, right? I think Byron Katie, that talks about stories. And when the mind is starting to perpetuate what if and maybe this and maybe that, the mind can be really crafty at making up stories where our physical body will want to believe it and put us in fear mode, right? So we want to ask ourselves, when you're noticing the tension or the stress in your body, when you're feeling constricted, when you're feeling like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what the right thing is, being able to pull back and ask yourself, are the stories that your mind is perpetuating true, right? We have very deep instincts to want to fit in, to want to not be banished or cast out from a tribe. And that can be real with your family dynamics or with your work environments, right? And so you want to be mindful this week of the mind creating stories that may not be true. I hope this is making sense. I feel like this is like a come to Jesus gritty message, and we've really got to look at what is love and what is fear, practicing discernment with the difference, and really step away from judgments of ourselves and others. And friends, please trust me, I know how challenging that is. This is the spiritual journey. But in order for us to move forward in this lovely, lighter energy, we really have to practice a level of compassion. Now, I understand you're going to see maybe injustices or the appearance of injustices, or you may see things playing out unfairly. You know, remember, you as a divine being, an earth angel, you're a witness, right? And the divine operates through you to be able to know where to make the adjustments, right? So through your prayer, through your compassion and understanding that everybody is at a different stage, everybody's having different experiences based on their upbringing, based on their background, based on their financial, space that they're in, based on their romantic space that they're in, based on their tribe, based on their history, based on their past lives. So we may feel like we're justified in these, let's say, attacks, but it's not helping us in our energy, right? So this week, I feel like that is coming up for us to see past the illusions and send in armies of angels, or send in, the guides for prayer, for light, for love in the world, And I'll tell you, over the weekend, I was experiencing some really uncomfortable emotions like anxiety and anger and confusion. I literally felt like I was crawling out of my skin. And I remember at one point just saying, God help me. God help me. I need help. And then I was saying, and I may have shared this with you last week because it was over the weekend, so it might have been like Saturday into Sunday. But anyway, I'm sharing it again because it can feel the intensity of the energy. And then I was like, I need to call in more reinforcements. So I called in the Holy Spirit and I called in Jesus. I said, God help me. Please send in the Holy Spirit and Jesus to bring peace in my body. Please help me to rise above this energy. I'm feeling out of control. It was like me communicating and expressing and being open to receiving support and guidance. And I will tell you, friends, it was divine intervention. It was like 2 a.m. And again, I'm crawling out of my skin with anxiety and anger and frustration, and I wanted things my way and it wasn't going my way. And so I called in, this powerhouse of energy, and I kid you not, after I asked, I laid there and I noticed I was so much in my mind. I took a deep breath. I dropped down into my body. And as I did that, I felt this great peace come over me. The tension, the anxiety, the anger, the sadness, it all flushed out of me. And it was like feeling like a child in a cradle. And I remember thinking that moment, it's gone. Everything's going to be okay. And instead of like going back into my mind, I trusted that that was God's will. I rolled over and I fell asleep for a good 3 hours before I woke up again and my mind started. But I felt like I had a stronger hold on knowing that there's certain things in life, certain things we experience, certain things we see in the world that are beyond our control, beyond what we can do. And prayer and inviting in the divine, however that works for you, sending armies of angels to situations and experiences, having compassion for the fears and the frustrations. Everything does happen for a reason, even though we don't understand. Earth, as an earth angel, that your trials and tribulations and your challenges that you've experienced on your journey and the way you've been squeezed through adversity has made you who you are today. You are stronger, you are wiser, you are a voice of the divine light because of it. And understand that the world is experiencing this on a mass level, and you may be experiencing it through your relationships, through your family dynamics, through old paradigms that are being flushed out, or you may be experiencing it with your own power struggles within your mind and your heart, right? Your ego and the soul, right? And that energy. energy. So there's a lot of this intensity right now. So I'm feeling like Bat is gifting you this week the ability to see through the illusions into what is truth. So that was a very long explanation for that. But I hope that felt supportive for you. And, honestly, there's on this spiritual journey, it's gritty. It can be raw. It can be painful, but it also can be liberating. And I promise you, this intensity and this healing work that you're doing is worth it. I know I experience troubles and challenges, and it's important for me to share that with you. I don't want to disillusion anyone that the spiritual journey is, all unicorns and rainbows. And if you're not, in love all the time and everything's great, then you're doing it wrong. It's just not true. It's just spiritual fluff out there that's just not helping people. So understand that we've come here for the human experience and all facets of it, but you're never alone. And it's through the experiences that you have that you become a beacon of light and you experience wisdom to share with others, right? You are a teacher. Those of you who are watching this channel, this is why, maybe there's not millions of subscribers or millions of views, right? Because, the EarthAngel community right now for platforms like mine, we're the minority right now, right? So, even though we feel like we're behind, even though we may feel like, we've got to catch up, you really are the leaders. You really are doing this work. You are embracing the energy of oneness and of love, doing your healing work. And as you do, that's how we shift and change the planet, friends, right? So, all right, let me go into the healing, the Crystal Angels deck. So my intention is crystal energy comes from the earth, Mother Earth, and my intention with this is to ask what crystal wants to support you this week, and the crystal will also have a message of healing for you. So what crystal energy would be most beneficial to support you this week? And what is its healing message? Sugarlight. Own your divine power. Oh my gosh, I love this. It says replace codependent people pleasing with assertiveness and empowerment. And for this, I feel like, as it says, step into your divine power, it means that this energy of illusion and injustice and, anger and projections and reflections, and it can really rob you of your energetic abundance, and it can perpetuate procrastination. It can perpetuate neediness. And listen, this reading this week, it feels like a come to Jesus session, because the divine is saying, hey, we got some work to do, and, you're on the right path, but, you have to understand that you're also on this spiritual journey, and that needs to be strengthened as well. So when we're in like this energy of judgment or comparisons or envy, which, remember, is part of the human experience, as I like to share. Nothing is good or bad, right or wrong, positive or negative. It's all opportunities to learn. So I would encourage you, if you're feeling those energies of adversity or challenge this week, know it's an opportunity to grow. And we're in a space right now where it's not necessarily the best time to create and have new beginnings and jump into things, right? Even though you maybe feel motivated to, it's a time to clean out the cobwebs, check in, practice self-love, doing things in accordance with love of the self. And with that, you become more energetically abundant. And that's where you find your divine power. So instead of suppressing or running away from, envy or comparison or uncertainty or the daunting energy of the unknown and insecurities, right, that may come up this week, I would encourage you to remind yourself in that self-soothing way that you're safe. You're safe. you have the ability to protect yourself, and you have the ability to take care of yourself on a deep core level. And from there, you can lean into the fears. You can lean into the anxiety. You can lean into maybe it's envy or frustration or anger, and being able to feel it in your body and saying, ask it, what are you teaching me? Like, what do I need to know from this? And I can tell you, friends, it requires space. It requires pause and stillness and silence and rest, right? And if you're still in that, have-tos and shoulds and running around like crazy, the energies can get really intense, right? So when you notice that in your body, being able to relax, breathe, soften, and open, creating space, inviting in the divine, and saying, okay, what am I learning from this? So, when I had that experience last weekend and I felt that great peace come over me, I knew that it wasn't a time for me to, let's say, analyze everything. But when I woke up that next morning, it was 5 a.m. When I woke up that next morning, I did have more clarity. I did have clarity in knowing that God always had my back, that I was never alone, that the divine is my anchor, and that when I call out and ask for assistance and guidance, as that is my free will, God has always been there for me 1000%. And it really brought me back to the essence of who I am and my divine power. And from there, I was able to use that energy to make changes and adjustments and understand and focus my energy in a different way. So understand this illusion stuff, right, of the world, like wanting us to be of service to it, and the people pleasing so that people won't leave or we don't lose our job, or, there's things that come up that make us feel powerless. Sugar Light, the crystal energy this week, is encouraging you to step in your full power with assertiveness and empowerment through boundaries, even boundaries with yourself, friends, right? Even taking ownership for our own energy. I'm very clear with the people in my life when I say, I am in a mood, I am foul, I need an attitude adjustment, and I'm very aware of the experience I'm having, but I also know it's a shift for me, and I can't ignore it through TV or through food or through entertainment or anything like that. So I encourage you this week to stop, right? Lean into the discomfort if you're feeling that, or even, if you're not, you may experience people around you who are experiencing it, and you can provide a space or support or wisdom for them and encourage them to feel, and encourage them, especially if it is, if you're working the feminine energy, and you're working with or around, maybe it's your child, maybe it is your parent, maybe it is a coworker, if you can really encourage them to talk it out, if you can encourage them to, and again, not from the place of I can save you and I can tell you what's wrong and, I can do it for you, that's just going to perpetuate a martyr energy. But what you can do is when you express what has worked for you and how you ground and connect, you are now opening space for somebody else to do that for themselves as well. So we're learning now how to share our coping skills, our ways to self-soothe. We're learning to be more open and vocal about how we work with the divine, and whether it's God, source, creator, divine mother and father, God, goddess energy, whatever that is to you. We're now learning to step into our full power and use our intuitive gifts to support others in a non-codependent and people-pleasing way, and more of like a teacher or a sage or a wise being. So again, beautiful energy this week. I think this is going to be my cover photo. I'm really appreciating this energy here. Own your divine power. All right, so what are your action steps this week? What do the Archangel Animals, especially the bat energy and your divine guides, want to encourage this week as action steps? All right, so there's two here. The First one we have is you are lovable. See, self-love, it comes back to the self, right? Relax, breathe, soften, and open. If you're in that mind with persecution and shoulds and shouldn'ts, and, trust me, I know I've said this, but, I struggle with this, and I recognize it sooner, and I'm able to shift it. And I know when I get out of sync with my spiritual disciplines and my regular practice, and not necessarily connecting and feeling that essence of love flowing through me. So if you're challenged, this week, remember that you are lovable. The energy here says it says love who you are as you're created perfectly. Everything about your true self is beautiful. This is your power, right? And so sometimes we experience the world that wants to manipulate or distort your gifts. And I can tell you, Earth Angels, your ability to feel and express emotions, your vulnerability, your wisdom, your connection, your ability to be receptive and intuitive are your gifts. And that energy has been distorted, manipulated, and suppressed for eons. It is very disempowering. And I feel this week, if this energy creeps up for you, I feel like the divine is saying that you are lovable and you are a child of the Most High God, and you are worthy and deserving of so much more. And, if you're working towards, financial abundance or energetic abundance, if you're working towards wellness in mind, body, spirit, and emotions, the more you expand in light and the more you want to grow and the more you're feeling better, anything that's not a vibrational match will pull at you, right? It's just an unconscious energy. And so I feel like that your guides this week are wanting to empower you to keep moving forward, shining your light, your energy of love, even in the appearance of darkness, even in the appearance of persecution or attack. What are you so perky for? Or aren't you lucky to be so happy? Or, things like that. But, it is your light that is actually a healing balm for the world. But understand that, if you walk into a room and shine a light on somebody who has a headache, they're gonna swat at you. They're gonna be upset because they're in pain. And so there's a mass population out there that is experiencing like an energetic headache, right? And so it can be snappy or snippy or, envious or abusive. And so, it's never okay to allow that. So setting boundaries for yourself, right? Being able to stand in your own empowerment is your true power, knowing that your gifts are a beacon of light to the world, even if they're for yourself right now, to make yourself stronger. Right? So you love who you are. You are created perfectly. And again, this energy could be coming up because maybe it's this week is about you really getting back in touch with yourself. It might not be a time to entertain. It may not be a time to go out and be amongst the world. And so it may feel isolating and alone, but also too, it can also be really fun and liberating when you're playing with the divine energy. So I feel like that's what it's encouraging this week. If you're not able to, like I said, if it feels like the energies outside, are harsh. So other action steps for you this week is let your inner beauty shine. Look at this pink energy. Beautiful, beautiful energy. I've got the rose energy. You see the softness here. You see the love and the gentleness. Again, if things have been edgy or prickly or saucy or spicy, I feel like this energy wants to come in, especially the maternal energy. The maternal energy, nurturing, soothing, cherishing, honoring, right? Friends, the way you are with yourself has to be first and foremost on this journey, right? The act of self-love and deep self-preservation and protection and caring for your body, your mind, your spirit has to be first. We can no longer exist in the energies of, let's say, people pleasing and the martyr energy and putting everybody else first and, on the hunt for money and material success and all this stuff. It's just not going to perpetuate the energetic abundance and inner peace that you may think it will. So remember, material success is a byproduct of love, of light, of humility, of expansion, of service, not the hunt for it, to get it, to acquire those things, right? We need to embody it and be it. And with that comes energetic abundance, inner peace, financial security, blessings, because now you're making adjustments in the way you utilize those energies in the world. I hope this is making sense. So let your inner beauty shine. The message here says you are a brilliant example of God's love. God, there's so much here, right? Being assertive and empowering, see truth, love who you are. It says everything about you is perfect. So let your light shine and inspire others. Friends, I cannot speak enough, right? These are your action steps this week, is really to step into your full power. Allow that beacon of light, because remember, you've learned some really great, healthy boundaries and skills, right? To be able to express yourself, to be able to protect yourself, to keep yourself safe. You've been working on your own inner strength, right? To not necessarily need things outside of you, right? To feel safe. You're now empowering that energy from inside out. And again, I want to speak to this energy. Love who you are. As you are created perfectly, everything about your true self is beautiful. See truth, right? Everything about you is perfect. So let your light shine and inspire others. Right? So this is letting the love in. And, for earth angels, that can be challenging because, especially for the feminine energy, we live in a world that has this distorted perception of what is beauty and what is success and what is love, right? And so earth angels just embody this natural ability to be unconditional love, right? And, we're now learning how to protect that. And our bodies, our insight, our wisdoms are teaching us that. And so the more you're in tune with that energy within, the more your body will reject the distortion, the illusion, right? The pain, and you will no longer align to those things. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to feel discomfort. Doesn't mean you're not going to, feel the mind kick in and the journey of the human experience, but you'll have the skills and the wisdoms to understand that it is actually working for you and not necessarily trying to distort you or destroy you or throw you off course. You can really empower yourself to say, bring it. Is this all you've got? Show me, and you can actually use fear as a teacher. You can use fear as a way to empower yourself in courage. And so, like I said, I share the experience of me feeling frustrated and angry and confused and anxiety because I totally got caught up in experience, and I own that 1000%. That's me being human, and that is perfectly okay. And I'm so grateful that I have empowering skills, and I have a belief system that I have, and I have a faith that I have. That's my anchor to pull me out of it, right? So it doesn't go on for weeks and infect others around me and days and months and distort me in an energy of depression, right? So you're learning how to navigate these energies as they come. Wow. I love this. So, all right. So, what are you being gifted this week? As you let love in, as you really stand in your full power, as you feel that heart expand, right? That's the Venus energy. That is the Uranus just went direct. We're feeling the vibrations of the 222 energy. Two energies are about like soulmate energy. It's about balance. We have the 6 that we're in now, the 6 universal year, which is about love and home and family. And so, getting back to the heart of that is really where your anchor is going to be. And that in of itself is in Christ or the divine or, God, whatever resonates with you in that high vibration of unconditional love. So what are you being gifted with this week? That was easy. What are you being gifted with this week? Body changes. Yes. So you are coming out of that chrysalis, right? You're coming out of an old way of being. So body changes. It could actually be a physical body, it could be like your etheric body, your energetic body, your emotional body. So please, know that this is an expansion of your auric field, right? Your light can expand. You can feel like a totally different person. That who you were last year and who you are now is completely different and changed. So you want to acknowledge that. You want to acknowledge like how far you've come, the adjustments you've made. You also want to acknowledge when you feel good in your body. I've shared in other videos that, I've made adjustments in my health care and food that I eat being very nourishing and fortifying and enriched with nutrients, and I feel really good. My intuitive abilities have heightened. I feel more alive. I feel more energetically abundant. Again, as light expands, anything that's not a vibrational match needs to come up and out. I give it permission to move through my body and I learn from it. And in turn, I grow and expand even more so, right? So if you are feeling good in your body, if you're making adjustments, if you're making changes and no longer eating things that might be emotionally, that might trigger emotional instability or might trigger inflammation in your body, if, you're making these adjustments, instead of thinking of them as restrictions, like I can't have that, really kind of get into that space of this is what's going to help me feel better. And when you do feel better, really acknowledging this feels great. I see the energy of the wings, right? So expand your wings and get to use your new spiritual body and be playful in this world, be joyful, be powerful. And again, it's a challenging thing to do when there is a large part of the population who is not there yet, right? But again, we're all in different stages. And so you can be the divine personified. You can be the one that reflects that energy out into the world. If you're in love, be in love. If you're enjoying your body and you're enjoying your energy, enjoy it, savor it, appreciate it, love it, because that energy will vibrate out naturally all around you, friends. So that is your gifts this week, is noticing the body changes, maybe the adjustments you've been making if you've been meditating or if you've been, dedicated to like a daily practice, if you've been really working in that space, or maybe you've kind of gotten off course a little bit, and that's fine. That happens, right? Making things habitual and, disciplines and routines takes time to really settle into. So loving yourself for recognize it and then getting back to, like those things that keep you grounded, your laundry, paying bills on time, gas in your car, stretching your body, drinking water, eating nourishing foods for your body. Those things are actually what's going to keep you grounded. I mean, I know there's bubbles of light and there's chords and there's the tree meditations with the earth, and that's all great, but, in this world, in this energy we're in, it is how you're taking care of your human physical body and your physical needs and your environment and your home, doing those things. I like to call it me being a domestic goddess, right? Vacuuming and maintaining the cleanliness of my clothes and my dishes and my refrigerator and my car. Those are all ways that I find myself, and my bank account, right? Finding and managing my finances in an empowered way. Those are all things that keep me grounded on a regular basis, so I'm not in those highs and lows, like super high spiritually or really, needing to ground that energy. It's like I've interwoven the masculine and the feminine all throughout my life. So hopefully these are just little nuggets that can support, if you have been doing these things, it's just, reinforcing that it is working for you. And, things can creep in because that's part of the spiritual journey, and it's all good. All right, final message here. So this is the Gateway Oracle cards by Denise Lynn, and this is just an overall mantra, an overall affirmation to support you for the week. So if you do need a little extra anchor or reinforcement, this is just a affirmation or an energy that you can go back to ground you back into this divine power and love energy that we're experiencing here. All right, so what's the most important message the angels, earth angels, need to hear, see, feel, and know this week? What can be an anchor message to support them throughout the week? So, there's too many here. See, there's like 4 of them. There we go. That's better. Simplifying your life. See, I told you, like cleaning your stuff. It says, I cherish the simple pleasures of life, right? So I very much enjoy my independence. I very much enjoy my space, my home, my car. Yes, they're material things, but they provide me a level of security and safety and support that I've worked towards, right? So I don't necessarily have an attachment to them as things, but I love the energy that it provides me. So taking care of, if you live with other people, taking care of your own room, right? Taking care of your own body, cleaning up, getting into the corners. So I know many of you are experiencing the energy to want to cleanse and clear and simplify and get rid of things, right? It's a great time to unpack, get rid of baggage. You do want to be mindful with the retrograde energies, not necessarily to be so impulsive that you're throwing a ton of stuff away that you may regret later, or if you're getting rid of things from the past and you could possibly not necessarily, I don't know, maybe it's, from a loved one, or maybe it's something from your past, and maybe it's something you could use, and simplifying it, getting rid of it, let's say, but putting it maybe in a basement or putting it in a bag somewhere until, after the retrograde energies are over, and just kind of revisiting it. Just like, okay, is it really something I want to release? Is this really something I want to let go of? But it is, again, because there's not a lot happening with action. We're not really in an energy that's supporting action. We will be in that energy in March. So if you want to launch something, if you want to, present something, if you want to book something, or like put out a book or put out a podcast, or, start something, March is a much better, like March to May is a golden time to do that. So this might be the time to dot your I's, cross your T's, put plans in place, and really anything that may hold you back. If you've got piles of stuff, if you've got conversations that you need to have with people, if you need to hash things out, this is the time to do it. But again, you want to be mindful with the Mercury retrograde that you're very clear in communicating. So again, the affirmation here is, I cherish the simple pleasures of life. right? So maybe it's getting out in the sunshine. Sometimes it's the crisp cold air. Here I am in the Northeast and it is chilly up here. And so sometimes it feels good to have that cold, on my skin. I've been taking yoga classes. My boyfriend and I have been going to yoga and it has been cold. We've been going at night and it has been cold. And so, when we come out of the yoga class feeling like stretched and feeling like we've got like breath in our lungs and chi in our body, it's like being revitalized by the cold, right? And we kind of just appreciate it. And for me, those are those simple pleasures of just enjoying the experiences in the moment, it being what it is, right? So, like even the cold, you can appreciate the snow, having a warm, cozy house or a nice, warm, comfy blanket. So, that can counter, this energy that you might be feeling, is really just kind of, cleaning up those things, getting rid of projects or tying up loose ends, these next few weeks is a good time for that, and simplifying. It can really keep you grounded and balanced. All right, I think that's all I have to say. So let me just share with you. I used the Archangel Animal Oracle cards, Crystal Angels, Flower Therapy, Butterfly Oracle for life changes, and I finished with the Gateway Oracle cards. And I share these because you may have the decks at home, and I encourage you to maybe pull out the book and maybe there's more information if one of these cards really resonated with you, or maybe you're having a hard time, really letting that in. The book, for example, with Flower Therapy, can give you some more insight if you wanted to go more into detail. A lot of these decks, unfortunately, aren't available anymore. I know Diane Cooper's Archangel Oracle card decks are still available, and I think Denise Lynn's Gateway Oracle cards are still available, but other ones, you might just have in your stockpile somewhere. All right, so let me close space. Let me thank all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that assisted with this guidance for you this week. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. So it is. Thank you so much for being here, friends. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes. It really does help more people see the messages that come out. Thank you for your support, just being here and watching. If I can be any assistance further to you, I do have a January special going on where I combine your personal year numerology with oracle cards. And I can tell you I've done a bunch of them so far, and they've been so fun. They've been so enlightening, and it's been really fun combining the numerology with the oracle cards and how they all come out together. So that's available for about, another 10 days or so. I'm going to just take it off the calendar on January 31st or maybe February 1st. But if I can support you in any way, if you're feeling you're on a loop, or you're feeling challenged, or you're missing a loved one, or you're really wanting to dig into life purpose and why you're here on this spiritual journey, or why you keep experiencing what you experience, that's kind of my forte. That's what I offer from a spiritual perspective. And all that information and like ways to book are in the description box below. So thank you so much for watching. I love you. God loves you so much. I want you to have a really great week. Remember to trust your intuition, trust the divine, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.